Okay, so today I'm going to go a little bit more into depth about habitat. We talked about it a little bit in class, so we're going to review a little bit more to try and get a better understanding of what a habitat is, okay? So don't forget that you can pause at any moment in this video if you need to take a second, take a break, or just to think about more about the question that I will be asking, okay? So, what do you remember about habitat? I want you to take a moment to sit down, to write down what you remember about habitats. Over this, it's okay if you don't remember it all, but write down what you remember. Okay. So, what is a habitat? Okay, so what is a habitat? Let's see if what you have is similar to what I have written down, and if it's not, that's okay. That's why I made this video. So it is the natural home or environment of an animal, plant, or other organism. So it just pretty much means that it's where the animal, plant, or organism lives and gets what they need. It's how they survive. It's a place where they live. I want you to take another moment to write about what a habitat needs for it to sustain life. So what is in a habitat that makes it a habitat? If that makes any more sense. And how do they work together? So how do the elements of a habitat work together to make it a habitat? Okay, so I'll give you a couple seconds to answer that. Feel free to pause if you need a little bit more time. All right. So the three things that the habitat needs is water, food, and shelter. So these three things work together to create a habitat. So if you have food and shelter, but you have no water, you'll dehydrate. But also, if you have no water, how are you going to get food, or at least vegetation? If you're an animal that eats only vegetables and plants, they can't live without water. What if you have food and water but no shelter? You'll have a happy tummy, but you won't have anywhere to protect you from the other elements, such as the different temperatures, hot and cold, things like that. And if you have shelter and water, but you have no food, you're most likely going to starve. So, all these things work together to make the living organism, animal, plant a happy being. Let's take a look. Let's rewind here. Okay, so, we did explain what it needs and how they work together. So, they work together to create a habitat that's healthy for us. So, now let's take a look at the game Switch Zoo. We play this during our rotations, our center rotations. So we're just gonna go through a little bit more, and after I want you to play with it on your own, so you get a better understanding of how the different habitats work together. So here we have a polar bear. Clearly we have the proper biome. So we have the Arctic tundra. We change it, that makes it too hot for the polar bear to live in. So we do need the Arctic tundra, that's right. And I think our precipitation is correct. And no, we don't want it to be rainy. It could be a clear day out. Let's see if that works. And let's check our vegetation. I think it's There's no cacti that live in snow. They die. Oh, we made Mr. Polar Bear very happy. So it can be bare. It's bare. There's nothing. It's barren. It is also the Arctic tundra, so there's cold, very, very cold, below 0 degrees. And it's a clear day. Or what else do you think we can have? Oh, we could also have a cloudy day, just perfectly fine. And a snowy day. So those three things work very well with the Arctic tundra for this happy little polar bear. Let's do one more. So let's do a beaver. Okay. So beaver clearly cannot live in here. Doesn't look, it's a little too cold for him. So I'm gonna change the biome. Desert's too hot. The country can work. And let's change the vegetation. Let's add, I don't know, too odd. Having cactus and snowing, that doesn't work. Oak trees might work. Let's leave that, and let's change the snow to a cloudy day. And look, we've actually made the beaver extra happy. He's even thumping his little tail. Perfect. Now we're just gonna wrap this up, and remember, you can play this later at home. Okay. There we go. And we're just gonna play a quick matching game. So let's look at this. So what animal do you think goes with the habitat below? So we have a camel, we have some penguins, a mama bear and a baby bear, a giraffe, and a sea turtle. And then the different habitats are forest, ocean, desert, open woodland, and the Arctic tundra. So where do you think these animals belong to? Take a moment to write those down. Okay, so let's go over this. So a camel, what do you think? Camel, where do you normally see them? I think a desert. So desert, a camel normally lives in the desert. They keep all that water in their hump. They have food. They don't need too much food. So whenever there's little patches of grass, they'll eat that. They have water, plenty of water. They store water in their humps. In the desert, it's perfect for them because they have water in their humps. They keep hydrated. Penguins live in the Arctic tundra. So this is cold enough for them to survive. They go into the water for fish. They go fishing. They have everything they need. Bears live in the forest. They hunt for their food. They also not only eat other animals such as fish, but they also eat nuts, berries, things like that. And they get plenty of shelter. They live in caves and such and things like that. The next one is giraffe, and they live in open woodlands. So if you think about giraffes, usually they're in Africa. They live in open lands where you see little sections of trees, and so that is what makes it an open woodland. So they get the sun, they get water. They don't need too much, but they get enough water to live. They have the trees, which is what they eat off of. So they have the three things. And then lastly is the sea turtle. Sea turtles are a little bit different. Because they live in water, they don't really need to drink it, but to survive, they need to live in water. Otherwise, they can't survive. They have food underneath there, and they have a shelter. They're good to go. So if you need any help, more help, I'll be happy to help you. And don't forget to play, switch to a little bit more